I just think they need better players. I just don't think they have high-end complete players.
Let's talk to our dear friend from ESPN, the great John Buccigross. Butchie, why aren't you wearing a VR headset?
Uh, uh, they don't let anchors wear VR headsets. It's in their contracts. Has to be an analyst.
Are you jealous that PK gets to enter the PK verse?
I am. I want to have hot dog fingers, and I want to say stop when we could just roll the actual video from the game. And just have these different cartoons. See what I look like as a cartoon. That's always fun too.
Here's a question. Which jersey would you be wearing? Because famously, PK wears a Habs jersey when he does
Yeah.
his.
Not sure. Not sure. I'll go. I'll go the Blue Jackets. High school and college in Ohio.
Love
That's right.
that.
I always forget you were an Ohio guy. That's
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I lived there
you have
for
like a lot of New England energy. And I think you consider yourself a New Englander, right?
Well, mom and dad grew up in South Boston, and all my relatives, cousins, grandparents, aunts, and uncles all lived within 40 minutes of Boston. We were the only ones. So, yeah, we were out there in 11 years, Pennsylvania, 11 years in Ohio, and then I moved to New England at 22. So I've been here for 38 years.
We gotta get PK on just because I love my favorite thing about the whole thing is the go ahead and run it. That's like that's the catchphrase that is sweeping North America. Go ahead and run it. Man got a huge ass thing on his fucking face, and he's going like this. Go ahead and run it. I honestly, like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is going to be a little ridiculous, but it is growing on me, and I'm not saying that as a joke.
Okay.
Is it not growing on you?
No.
Sean, is it growing on you?
Sure. Yeah, I'll say yes.
I am the lone supporter of it. They got to get some like image stabilization though, because when they cut to his view, it's like, all right, now look what I'm seeing, and it's fucking shaking all over the place. So that they need to work on. Butchie, we were talking before about the Panthers and how while they are clearly having an easy time getting through the Eastern Conference Final, they are kind of starting to get on that injury watch, on that maybe could run out of gas watch. Are we being dramatic? Are we just being an Oilers podcast? Or is that something that maybe should be monitored more than it's been?
Yeah, no, for sure. If you're looking ahead, if you think it's going to be Oilers and Panthers, which it probably will be, then I think if you're an Oiler person, you can say, okay, we're getting Ekholm back. Frederick and Kane give us a lot. Pud Colton is playing like he never played all year long in terms of hitting people. Zach Hyman's taken on that role, so they're going to be a physical team that probably just about the most physical team that the Panthers have seen. And if Reinhardt does have a bit of an MCL sprain there, and he's not 100%, and Mikola's shoulder the labrum's ripped off, and he's got to have surgery this summer at some point, I do think those guys will eventually play. But I think it's a reasonable thing. Although last night I think it was a day off. They were playing too cute, and they were trying to get it without working that hard. It's a natural human reaction. It's just Carolina just had way more desperation. The Panthers, I don't want to say didn't feel like matching, but it takes a lot of energy to match. And so let's try to go 90%. And so now we got a fun game 5.
With the conference finals going the way that they are right now, which has been a little disappointing. I think we can say we just recited the stat that every game has been decided by 3 or more goals. Like, what's been the biggest stories for you from both sides?
Well, certainly it was Carolina's losing streak in the Eastern Conference Finals before they won last night. That was a big one. Sam Bennett being tied for goals in the playoffs is a big one at the perfect time in his career. Connor McDavid, again, until recently, not scoring goals in the playoffs, which I really believed he needs to do for them to win. And now the last 2 games, it's a big difference when I think you're seeing him thinking about scoring more. That 2-on-1 the other night, who was that? Was that with Hyman that he shot the 2-on-1 shot? He very rarely does that, right? And so I think he realizes I got to start thinking goals, and especially in the playoffs. I have a great shot. I have the most determination on the team. I have the most to lose, the most to win in all of this. So he's got everything's really riding on him. Nobody feels what he feels. So he needs to, I think he needs to shoot more and try to score goals. And he hadn't. He didn't last year. And he said got off to a slow start this year. It was like a 25 goal pace before these last. That's fine. But he needs to score a little bit more than that. And so if he starts thinking that, then I think the Oilers, with like you said, the Panthers getting worn down, is a bit of a story. And we'll see you with Dallas. Tonight's a big one. Tonight will probably reinforce the storyline, another storyline, whatever that is. Oilers go up 3-1. Skinner has another amazing game. He's coming on strong. Will Rantanen score tonight? Is he going to get outscored by Logan Stankoven in the conference finals? So it's going to be fun. That's why every game is so much fun. So yeah, there has been final score disparities, but I think a lot of these games have been somewhat close. Obviously how Dallas came back, and they're always right there before someone pops late. And that's going to happen this time of year. Guys are tired, guys are worn down, guys are injured, so you might get that. But overall, I still wake up. I can't wait for the game every night. Can't wait for tonight's game.
We haven't spoken since the Panthers beat the Maple Leafs in 7 games, and you and I were both like big on the Maple Leafs this postseason. You had them winning the cup, which made me want to die. But
Did I?
I had them certainly making a deep run. Maybe you just said it on our show to fuck with me.
I said, what was the craziest outcome
I think
of
I
the
did.
playoffs?
I think I
The
did.
craziest
Oh,
outcome
right.
of the
Yes,
playoffs
that's-
was Austin Matthews lifting the cup in Edmonton.
Yeah, you gave me a scenario. I wasn't predicting that. You
okay,
asked
gotcha.
me for a scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize for misremembering, but
That's okay.
wh-
My
what have
preseason
you-
pick was the Oilers winning the cup. That was my preseason pick. So if it is Oilers Panthers for the cup final, I'm taking the Oilers just to ride the preseason pick.
Okay, well, fuck the Leafs question I had then, because that's very good. Why do you have the Oilers as being better than the Panthers right now?
Well, they amazingly, despite their huge summer mess up with Holloway and Broberg, they were able to kind of figure it out. They got a lot of help from Kane being out and getting his slot money wise. Wallman and Klingberg they've changed their defense. They can make stretch passes. They can have a one-man breakout. They give them actually more offense than they had last year. Kane and Frederick, and like I said, I don't know what Podkolzin's doing. I don't know if he's taking Adderall or something before the game, but he didn't play like that all year long. I mean, he is destroying people, which is how he's built. That's why he should play. And then Hyman's taken on that role. So suddenly they're a physical team with obviously the two great players and those two defensemen who really kind of changed things back there. And so suddenly they have, I think, a Panther type team. And it's just a matter if the goal scoring or if the goaltending for them remains like it's going. They can have a thing. But so far, I think it's trending well for the Oilers.
Okay, what I do know is that the three of us are there's a 3-man Mount Rushmore of people who have said, what the fuck is Evan Bouchard doing over and over and over again. All three of us are, I don't want to say Bouchard haters, definitely not.
Definitely
but
not.
Bouchard, we've been exasperated by Bouchard a lot. And I've heard you call games where I can hear in your voice the like, Oilers could have used a better play there from Evan Bouchard. Are you shocked that he is playing like an actual number one defenseman plus the Bobby Orr thing that he already has going on?
No, I mean, obviously, this guy is a huge talent. He's obviously always performed in the postseason, so you can't question that. It's just, during the regular season, sometimes he just doesn't want to go in the corner. He just doesn't want to make that play. It's just not in him, and that's fine. There's all kinds of players in all kinds of sports who used to be that way. The Celtics had a guy, Dennis Johnson, way back in the day when I was a kid, who kind of played that way. Always showed up in the big game. Game 42, in Cleveland against the Cavaliers, I might not be here. Again, I want to be here 70 to 80%. It's a long year. And that's
Load
just, I think, how
management.
Bouchard is built. I'm not sure. Sometimes he knows what city he's in playing. I don't think that's always the case. I think you could quiz him on the bench. You're not sure, exactly where he is and what day of the week it is and when do we play, who do we play next. But again, that's just how he is. And that's why he's free in the playoffs. I think just to be free, doesn't get in the way, uncomplicated. A Fred Couples type of mindset that they used to have in golf. That is like Freddie doesn't overcomplicate things. He just goes out and plays, and that's what Evan Bouchard does. He's Freddie Couples with ice skates.
That's awesome. Just load management, Bouchard. Big fan. of
That the
that
team
theory.
Big
doesn't know
fan.
he's doing.
Self-load manager.
Yeah, right. Self-load manager.
Yeah, load management with 82 games played. I love it.
And make you a lot of
Right.
money. I mean, we've said a couple of times, Oilers better sign that contract within the first few days of free agency, because if he takes them to arbitration, oh boy,
The numbers are going to give him a fat check. That's
it will
for
be
sure.
very, very ugly. Do you have any more on the postseason? Because I've got some Bruins questions.
Well, I wanted to ask about Carolina because we did a show yesterday or Sunday for yesterday, and we talked about the discourse around the Carolina Hurricanes and if they need an identity shift and like if there's something in the water there that just really isn't working. And of course, they win a game last night. They extend the series. Number one, do you think that there is an identity crisis with the Carolina Hurricanes that needs to be fixed in terms of playoff hockey? And if so, is there anything that you could see in the rest of this series that might pull you off of that narrative?
I just think they need better players. I just don't think they have high-end complete players. I think, Aho and Svechnikov are probably second liners. They're kind of first liners. Brent Burns is 40. Slavin doesn't give you offense. He's the best defensive defenseman. After that, I just don't think Carrier's been invisible in this series. Like why does he play like Kachuk and Bennett? Why isn't he in? He's just a big asshole out there. Like, they need more assholes on that team, first of all. And so, yeah, I just don't think overall you look at their roster, they have enough good players and like really high end players. I think the fact they get here is a testament to what they have and to the culture and to Rod Brindamore and how they play. They've never really had reliable goaltending that's healthy and I think like I said, I think he's gotten way more out of that than anybody. He is squeezing that ketchup, and there's still ketchup coming out of it, and you keep shaking it. You don't want to open up a new one, because I don't know, there could be 14 cents worth more of ketchup in this thing, and I'm going to get it for the next hot dog. I just think he just keeps squeezing and squeezing, and I think it's a lot. And that's why they go Gensel. That's why they go get Rancid and hope to keep them, because they know they need more of those players. They don't have those kinds of players.
Connor McDavid in shambles hearing that.
Ketchup?
A lot of ketchup talk, too much for him. And I wonder, I've been thinking about this a little bit. Like you said, they need more assholes. Can you moneyball an asshole? Can you do the Scott Hatteberg is our ideal first baseman? It's just that he's not a first baseman. We'll teach him how to play first base. Like, is there a guy that they're like, we can get him to? I mean, you mentioned Podkolzin earlier, where Vasily Podkolzin has gone from respectfully a bust of a top 10 pick to a real kind of like sandpapery type of player. Is there some sort of way they can maybe fashion a couple of assholes?
Like send them to
I think
boot
so.
camp?
I have a boot camp. You can teach these people. You can get in there. You don't have to fight. You might have to fight once in a while, but that's not hard. You're just grabbing jerseys, and you might take one, but you're not going to get hurt. Like, just get in there. Like Matthew Tkachuk, just basically, and Brady Tkachuk, they were taught at an early age how to establish themselves in this league, and they're both rich at a young age as a result. Like, you can get very, very rich playing that way. And Brad Marchand did it, and Sam Bennett is going to make a boatload. Like, why wouldn't? Yeah, statistically, Sam Bennett isn't Matthew Barzal or maybe Elias Lindholm a couple years ago. But if you're Sam Bennett, you look in the mirror, you said, I'm going to take less than Elias Lindholm. Are you kidding me? at 7.75? No, I'm making more than him. Who would you rather have in a 7-game series than some of these guys out here making 9? I know people don't want to pay Sam Bennett that much. Maybe it's Bobby Holik, the sequel, what the Rangers did. And ideally, he should stay in Florida and take 8 times 8. That's what my theory is. Take 8 times 8. Don't go somewhere else and put more pressure on yourself and play for 10. And then you have all this pressure. You have a team that's going to be good for 5 more years because none of them are 30 yet. So you're going to continue to play playoff games. You're in a great part of the world there. You've been for a while. It seems like you and your wife like it. Stay there. And now you're established there. So those are the kind of players. And I'm surprised they're not more young college. And you mentioned you mentioned the camp, but I really would be more aggressive coaching these guys and drafting them and try to develop them that way. And look at game tape of Kachuk and Marchand on how they shit disturb. Like, you can do that. You can learn how to do that and you'll get paid for it.
Remember, like, the Jerry Springer when they would have like those kids in juvie,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'd send them, or was it juvie or something? They would send them to do like a week at this detention facility, and they would
scared straight.
scare
Scared
tactics,
straight.
scared straight. That's what it was. They should do that with Carolina Hurricanes players over the offseason and turn them into assholes.
So like a reverse scared straight.
right, like
They're
scared
they're
into
too
being
straight.
criminals.
So I don't know if you need to scare them or what you need to do, but have them go in because they're reformed right now.
Right.
You want them to be unreformed.
They're currently law-abiding citizens. They go in law-abiding citizens. They come out hardened criminals. That's what needs to happen with the
I
Carolina
think what you're just
Hurricanes.
describing is like prison. Like when you put like innocent people in prison, a lot of times it can.
I was going to say,
like,
you got to figure out
changes their life in a
a
horrible
scenario where you show them what can go wrong if they're too nice. I don't know what that is, but you got to.
Yeah, I don't think that's
they're
going
seeing
to
it. I think
work.
they're living it for the past like 20 years.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. How do you reprogram them the other way?
I think that you could maybe take lessons from the film Armageddon, because they took drillers and taught them how to be astronauts. If you can do that, you can like teach a 24-year-old nice young Canadian guy how to be a 24-year-old slightly mean Canadian guy. Anyway,
You know what I'm doing?
What?
I'm hiring a tattoo artist before the next game, and Sebastian Aho is getting a face tattoo.
That would help.
Yeah.
he's getting the Askarov thing on his neck.
We all silly like the mayor.